What if the smallest act of kindness could change an entire life? And what if that life came back years later to change yours? This is the story of a single dollar that meant everything. Many years ago, there was a young boy named Daniel. Daniel didn't have much. His family struggled to pay bills, and some days even putting food on the table was difficult. But despite the hardships, Daniel's mother always told him one thing: never stop being kind, even when you have very little. One cold afternoon, Daniel was walking home from school. In his pocket was a single dollar. It was the only money he had, and he planned to buy a small snack with it. As he passed a quiet street corner, he noticed a man sitting on the sidewalk. The man looked tired. His clothes were worn, and beside him was a small cardboard sign that read, "Anything helps." Daniel slowed down. He looked at the dollar in his hand, then back at the man. For a moment, he hesitated. That dollar meant something to him. It was all he had. But then he remembered his mother's words, "Never stop being kind." So Daniel walked over and placed the dollar gently into the man's hand. The man looked up, surprised. His tired eyes softened. "Thank you," he said quietly. "You have no idea how much this helps." Daniel smiled and continued walking home. To him, it was just a small moment, just $1, and soon, life moved on. Years passed. Daniel grew older. He worked hard, studied late nights, and slowly built a career for himself. Life wasn't always easy, but he kept moving forward. One day, Daniel received an invitation to attend a large business conference. Curious, he decided to go. The room was filled with successful entrepreneurs, investors, and industry leaders. At the center of the event was the keynote speaker, a powerful CEO who had built one of the most successful companies in the country. When the CEO walked onto the stage, the entire room applauded. Daniel listened as the man shared the story of his life, how he once had nothing, how he struggled, slept on streets, and fought his way back up. Then, suddenly, the CEO paused. He looked around the room, and his eyes stopped on Daniel. For a moment, he stared, then he smiled. After the speech, the CEO walked directly toward him. Daniel felt confused. The man stood in front of him and said something Daniel would never forget. "I've been hoping to meet you again." Daniel frowned. "Me?" The CEO nodded. "I never forgot the boy who helped me when I had nothing." Daniel's heart skipped. Suddenly, he remembered. The cold afternoon, the quiet street corner, the dollar. "You were that man?" Daniel asked. The CEO smiled warmly. "Yes. That $1 bought me my first meal in 2 days. But more importantly, it reminded me that the world still had kindness in it." He paused for a moment. "And that kindness gave me the strength to keep going." Daniel stood there speechless. All those years ago, he thought he had given almost nothing, just $1. But to someone else, it had meant everything. The CEO placed a hand on Daniel's shoulder and said softly, "Kindness has a way of finding its way back." And in that moment, Daniel realized something powerful. No act of kindness is ever too small, because sometimes the smallest dollar can change a life forever.